So this video is going to be both a little bit educational plus a craft included. It is a pre-recorded video. The other day I cut out a bell using my Dremel. So I thought, since there were so many questions on this tool, I figured I'd give a really quick review of the tool that I used, the different parts that come with the tool, and then I will show you the project we created using this. It's going to be a different cutout other than the bell, and there will be a PDF available. So the Dremel is a rotary tool. The model I am using is the 4000. There are several different models, and each model comes with its own booklet. I do recommend that you don't use this video and just go buy a Dremel and think you're just going to use it. It is something that you need to read your owner's manual and just get used to the different parts and the safety features and everything like that. So the one I have is corded. They do make cordless ones. And again, this is the Dremel 4000. So the Dremel comes with many different accessories. I'm just going to go over a few of the more common ones. In here you have a few different sizes of this sanding stone. We also have the wire brushes. There's a bristle brush in here, and there's also some polishing tips, and then they also have some polishing discs. Now, a few of the more common ones that I am more familiar with is the multi-purpose tool. This is a spiral cutting bit, and this can be used on wood, plastic, fiberglass, laminate, and they also have one that is just for drywall. But this one here is multi-purpose. It can cut through many different materials. And then the other two I'm familiar with is these engraving cutters. And I did a project in the past where I used this. I can certainly link that below so you can see how you can engrave in your project as well. And I engraved into a piece of wood, so it's great for wood carvings. Now, depending on which tool you're going to be using will really depend on how you set your Dremel up. Since I'm going to be using mine for cutting a piece of wood, I'm just going to show you quickly that it comes with different pieces. And what we're going to do here is this piece here screws into the tip. And then this is my multi-purpose bit, which is also the spiral cutting bit. And that's going to go inside here. And then you tighten this all the way down until it reaches where you can't really tighten it too much. It's just going to keep spinning. So even though I'm going like this, it's not actually tightening it in there. That's one of the features here. It has a lock button, and I'm going to press on the lock button, which then gives me the ability to spin the head here to make this really tight inside the connector. So that's why I have a pair of pliers here, and if I don't have my finger on the lock button, it just spins freely. If I put my finger on the lock button, I can tighten it. So that's why I have my wrench here. You want to make sure this is nice and tight before you use the tool. And again, please use your user manual and really look at all of the safety tools and features and stuff. So then this piece here is called the guide housing, and this is really cool. This is what makes it so that you're staying flat on your piece of wood, and then depending on the thickness of your wood will depend on where you put your guiding house. So this is going to help guide through the thickness of the wood and also through the wood so that you're staying nice and flat. So this is a very important piece. So after I have this nice and tight, I'm then going to place my guide housing onto my Dremel, and I'm gonna make that nice and tight. Okay, so you can see here only a very small amount of my spiral bit is exposed. And you can loosen this to move this. So if I have a really thick piece of wood, I'm gonna leave it down. Again, depending on the thickness will depend on how high or low you move this. And I believe this goes up to 3/4 of an inch. And I typically just get these sheets of plywood. You could see they're very thin. And the other day I cut out a bell shape, which I can also attach that video in the comments. And then in this video, I'm going to show you how I cut out this tree. As you can see, there's a little more detail in small areas, which is where the Dremel is really effective. It really gets into these corners of the tree nicely in small areas. So a PDF of this will be available. And let's get crafting. So once I have my PDF cut out, I'm going to tape all my pieces together, lay it on my piece of plywood, and trace around it with a Sharpie marker. Now we're going to be using the Dremel, and I'm using the spiral bit that goes inside the Dremel. And I'm going to start at the top of my tree here and just carve around the entire tree. Now this is extremely loud, so I do recommend some earplugs, and you also want some safety glasses while cutting. And you do want to take your time, especially if it's more intricate of a cut. And I like to secure my wood to my cutting surface with some clamps. This makes it nice and secure, especially when getting close to the edge. And once I remove the clamp, out comes the cutout that we just did. Now the PDF can be found on our webpage at chalkitupfancy.com. Once I have it cut out, I'm going to carefully go around the edge of the Christmas tree with my handheld sander. This is from Milwaukee. And now you can really just decorate this as you want. I painted mine with some Wise Owl Spanish olive, and I gave it one good coat. And while the paint is still wet, I then took some water, and then I'm going to mix in some Charleston green from Wise Owl as well. And I'm just blending it together with a chip brush, and then I allowed it to fully dry. Once it was dry, I took 2 pieces of some wired black and red buffalo plaid ribbon. And of course, this is totally optional. You can do many different things with this. I wrapped a piece of ribbon around the top, and I held it in place with some hot glue, and then I took a second piece of ribbon and wrapped it toward the bottom. And again, I secured it in place with some hot glue. I added a hanger to the back side. You could certainly finish the back. And then I added this buffalo plaid ribbon to the center. And then I finished it off with my yellow star. And there you go. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Paint products, tissue paper, transfers, and mesh stencils can all be found on our webpage at chalkitupfancy.com. And don't forget, you can also check out other tutorials over on our webpage. Have a great day.